الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد: فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر وما أدراك ما ليلة القدر. ليلة القدر خير من 1000 شهر. تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر. وقال تعالى: فيها يفرق كل أمر حكيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends down a beautiful verse, a chapter of the Qur'an. And this chapter of the Qur'an is another opportunity for us. Because all of us here, we're all sinners, we are no one's perfect here. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we see the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the qualities of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rahmah, is mercy. It shows a lot of His mercy, shows a lot of His wisdom, His decisions, everything that He does. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is made it for the human beings. Even if you look at how the world is created, it's made for human beings. Just like how every single creation is there to serve or to be associated with the human beings. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this world has given us a purpose, and this purpose is to try and make His ibadah, try and worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and try and recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But many times in our lives, what happens, we get distracted. We have our work, we have our children, we have our families, we have different things that happen in life, and we get distracted. Sometimes it's studies, sometimes it's this. And these are things which is a necessity, which we have to live our lives. We're human beings. In our nature is to have all of these things, is to want more, is to want these pleasures and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants us to stop our pleasures. Wants us to, even those things which is made halal for us, wants to stop that thing. Just for a certain restricted amount of time. And the restricted amount of time is the month of Ramadan, where He wants us to, something which is made halal for us. Eating and drinking is halal for us, but He told us to stop doing it for a certain period of time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to show that Allah is the ultimate, Allah is above your desires, Allah is above your everything that you are wanting to do or doing at this moment. Allah is above that. And that means that priority number one is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A lot of our lives, our priority is not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, unfortunately. It's usually what am I doing today? I've got to go work today, I've got to go do shopping today, I've got to pick up the kids today, I've got to do this, I've got to do that. That's our priority, that's on the front of our mind. But these things should be secondary or nothing, not priority. It should be, the priority is that what can I do today to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What can I do today to how do I recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What's my worship going to be like today? How am I going to fit in my salah today? How do I get to the masjid today? How do I do this? How do I do that? These are the kind of mindset that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is looking for. So when a person has this mindset, then naturally when he goes out, he has the correct intention in doing this, automatically his akhlaq gets better. Automatically the way that he speaks gets better. Automatically the way that he watches and that he sees and he talks gets better. Why? Because his purpose is there. His meaning is there. When a person has meaning in his life, then you see something which is proactive, something which is productive, something which is effective. This is very important because a lot of the times we waste a lot of time. We become lazy. A lot of the time we're scrolling on our phones and we're wasting time. Some of us don't have jobs, some of us are retired. And then a lot of our time is gone into the phone, is gone into browsing and so forth. And then a lot of time gets wasted. So that wasted time is because the person doesn't really have the meaning in his life. He doesn't have his purpose. He doesn't have that. For us Muslims, alhamdulillah, we have a purpose. We've been taught the purpose. But that purpose and that meaning sometimes gets lost. Sometimes we get distracted and we forget our purpose in life. And our purpose is to please Allah. Our purpose is to do the ibadah. Our purpose is to recognize Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this month of Ramadan, it shows us that a purpose is coming back into our lives. The purpose is coming back into our life. What is my purpose? The purpose is to get that connection with Allah. Is to make our du'as and slightly longer du'as. Is to make our salah but slightly longer salah. Is to make our fasting, but now it's a different type of fasting. It's a fasting which is now I'm stopping not just the fasting of the food and the drink, but I'm fasting my desires, I'm fasting my eyes and my ears and my mouth, I'm fasting other things as well. Why? Because we do it for Allah's sake. Now we have a meaning inside of our lives. Many times in the past, or many times, especially nowadays actually, one of the biggest fitnas that we have nowadays is that we have a lot of people going into depression, going into anxiety, the high levels of anxiety. They're going and they're committing suicide. Why? Because they have no meaning in their life. When you look at the counselors and the therapists around the world, they're all saying the same thing. Very similar patterns are being shown. They're saying people come and they got no meaning inside of their life. They have no meaning. And for us, we have a meaning. We have a meaning. We have a Jannah. We have a Jahannam to stay away from. We have a Jannah to be attained. We have certain things which will please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this dunya, which will give us sweetness, which will give us some sort of satisfaction, which will give us some appreciation from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that He is the most appreciative out of all. Out of every single being that has been created, some show appreciation, some do, some don't, some say jazakallah, some say thank you, some say this, some show appreciation by giving money. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He will give you Jannah, such a Jannah which is 10 times bigger than this whole world. So this is the appreciation that Allah is showing you. So why don't we make stuff for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instead of this and instead of that? This is why we look at the different isms nowadays, the modernism, the feminism, all these different isms that come about. You look at feminism in itself, where you find that the woman doesn't want to stay at home and look after their kids, and then they don't want to listen to the husband. But what happens? They want to go outside, and they want to go outside to work and listen to the boss rather than their husband. Why? Because money is driven, it's career driven, it's money driven. People are now looking at materialistic things all the time. So materialism is there. Everything stems from liberalism, having an open life. I do what I want with my life. I can do what I want. There's no restrictions for me. So this is the life that we're living in. But still religion comes about, and still that you see that religion is very strong in our lives. Still we have Iman, still we have these opportunities to fast. Still in this society that we live in nowadays, we have so much different fitness coming, so much different things coming my way, bombarding me with this, bombarding me with that. But yet religion still stands firm. Religion is still there. We still have approximately 2 billion Muslims in the world. Yes, we have a lot of people, that have Iman, but how much Islam is inside of our lives? How much actions is there? How much real meaning is there? How much connection is there? And you can see Ramadan, that sense of unity, that sense of everything coming together, that sense of people praying together, they're breaking their fast together. We see this a lot, and it's something to be really proud of, something to really see that my Islam is the strongest. All the religions out there, you find that you see that Islam is the closest when it coming to unity and support. You find that Muslims are much more supportive than any other religion and any other kind of group that you see. You see the Muslims are much more very supportive. Even when you look at, so we went to a prison recently, and even looking at prisons, some of them, they give their feedback in prisons. They're saying that some of them want to become Muslims just because of the supportive group that they have. So example, if one person is getting hurt in prison, he's a non-Muslim, no one else will step in to help him out. But what happens is, if a person's Muslim and he's getting hurt in the prison, all the Muslims of all different backgrounds will come to help him out. Why? Because there's a brotherhood there. There's a certain brotherhood in Islam. There's something there. There's unity. In this unity of Islam, you find that together in the last months, in the last few days of Ramadan, you find this unity increasing more and more and more. You find people coming to the nighttime salah. You find people coming for the normal tarawih salah in the nighttime, in the middle of the night. People are coming to the masjid. Where do you get this? You don't find this in any other religion. You don't find this in the middle of the night. The whole night people stay awake. And now they please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They're worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And now they're all coming together in a sense of community. And now we're doing this. Now remember this, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam encouraged all of us to do this. He set up an environment in Medina for this to happen. And this environment has such an effect that we can still feel it nowadays. The environment has such an effect that you can still feel it nowadays. So Ramadan is a time where we find the community, we find the brotherhood, you find people now encouraging one another to realize who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, to get that connection. Because sometimes when you see, and you come into an empty masjid, maybe the motivation is not there. But when you see Fajr time, you see the whole people, a horde of people coming into the masjid, it makes you feel good that everyone's coming to the masjid. Now a person wants to come again, he wants to feel that sense of Ramadan-ness. The people coming in, people breaking their fast, people reading the Qur'an, sitting in i'tikaf. You have so many different things going on. People feel at home. People feel like, I want to be, this is a community feeling. People feel like, I'm now welcome inside of the community. This is such an effect that Ramadan has on people. But amongst us, that is a community feeling. Let's go even more specific. Even more specific is now for the person in itself. So for the person in itself, what does the person have to do? Apart from the connection with Allah, apart from the du'as that he's making, apart from the salah that he's keeping, that he's performing, apart from the fasting that he's keeping, we have so many different things that's happening for each and every single person. If a person doesn't get forgiven in this month, then a person will regret so much. If a person doesn't get forgiven in this month, then a person will regret so much. And a person doesn't want to feel regret. Regret is not a good feeling. Regret is not a good feeling. Just like Ibn Rajab al-Hanbali mentions, he's a very famous scholar, he mentions that if an odd night of Ramadan comes, and the Thursday night also comes, he says that it's most likely Laylatul Qadr. He says that it's Laylatul Qadr. That was last night. This is according to him. This was last night. So he says 23rd night came and it was a Thursday night. This could be one of the odd nights, so this could be one of the nights of Laylatul Qadr. So this is, a lot of people come up and say, I regret, I didn't know about this. So they have the regret, I should have stayed extra, I should have done this, I should have done that. So many times we find that the opportunity passes us by. Many opportunities pass us by. I should have done this and I should have done that. Don't make Ramadan another point of regret, where we say, oh, I should have done better. I should have done this and I should have done that. I could have given more charity. I could have stayed a bit longer awake. I could have read more Qur'an. I could have made extra dua. I could have done some extra zikr. I could have done. It's all about I could have. It's that regret moment. Don't make Laylatul Qadr, don't make your Ramadan, don't make your last moments of this Ramadan a moment of regret. Don't make it such that now I'm missing out on these opportunities. There's so much opportunities left for us. Sometimes we put all our eggs in one basket and we stick on the 27th night. But sometimes we want to do on the 27th night, something happens. We get a call, something happens at home, and then we miss, you get late, something happens. It can happen like this. So you put all your eggs in one basket, then it's not going to be the most productive. It's not going to be the most effective. So try and spread it out. Try and go for the other nights. You do not know when each and every single dua that you make, you don't know which one will be accepted. You don't know which one will say that He reaches through, straight to the arsh of Allah. You don't know which Allah says, I accept this dua right now, immediately. Or I will give you something even better in the akhirah. We don't know this. And having that not knowing feeling is something which is praised by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we have iman in ghaib. We don't know, so we have iman in ghaib. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. So Allah praises those people that have iman in ghaib, the belief in the unseen. So when we're having these things, it's very important for us to realize that we push ourselves and do not regret those things, those times, those normal moments that Allah gives us. He's gifting us things. Allah gifts us so many different things. He's gifting us opportunities, not just about money and materialistic things. Allah is gifting us opportunities. Imagine the time when you're on the day of judgment and your scrolls are laid out for you. The scrolls are laid out for you. And you see every single thing there. Every single thing that you see, that you've done, that you've typed, that you've watched, that you've said, that you've listened to, is on there and it's on there. Nothing is left out. مَا لِهَذَا الْكِتَابِ لَا يُغَادِرُ صَغِيرًا وَلَا كَبِيرًا إِلَّا أَحْصَاهَا. Nothing's been left out on the day of judgment. So the day of judgment is such a day where now a person will feel full of regret. Oh my, ya waylatana, ya laytana. The ways that Allah uses and the words is ya laytana. Oh woe to me, I could have done this, I could have done that, I should have done this. Send me back into this world, I would have done this. I've got to give more sadaqah, I've got to done a'mal salihah, I could have done good actions. Oh if only comes afterwards. Don't make if only. Because if only, now the time is gone and now you want that time to come back. But Allah says that's it. When your time is up, your time is up. وَلَا يَسْتَخِرُونَ. Allah will not delay your time. وَلَا يَسْتَقْدِمُونَ. Allah will not bring before your time. When your time comes, your time is coming. But we don't know when the time is coming. That's why it's very, very, very important for us to be proactive. Because Muslims are proactive. We say that I've got a few days left. If I don't give my charity, if I don't do my istighfar, if I don't do, Rasulullah sallallahu mentions this very famous, this hadith, if I'm not mistaken, Ibn Majah. He mentions here that Tuba, glad tidings upon that person. Inside of his scroll of deeds, he will find a lot of istighfar. He will find a lot of istighfar. Good, good for that person. How fortunate is that person? He finds inside of his scroll of deeds, he finds lots of istighfar. Just like Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to make 70 times, 100 times istighfar a day. So many times he used to make istighfar a day. And us, how much times are we making? We are in need of it almost. How much are we making istighfar? How do I know my istighfar is, my tawbah is accepted? Some ulama mentioned regarding without tears, how do you expect your tawbah to be accepted? Without tears, how do you expect your tawbah to be accepted? Some people naturally can't. But then they even mentioned, some scholars will mention that, even try to bring out some emotion and then show that in front of Allah. But a person cannot go in front of Allah saying, can you say, if a person is going in front of Allah and saying, I've done what I could. If you can say, I've left everything, I've done what I can, I put my full effort into this. Full effort into this, and then you can go in front of Allah and say, I put my full effort. Then alhamdulillah for that person. Praise be for that person who does this. But none of us are on that level. None of us on that level that we can say, I'm going to give full out. I'm going to go come, and then afterwards it's like almost I'm going to collapse. Just like you find some people in a race, I'm going to go full flat out for 100 meters, for 200 meters, for 400 meters. By the end of the time, what happens? He's flat out. He's flat out. He gave his all. He gave his all. And this is what Allah wants from all of us. He wants from me, He wants from you, He wants us to give us all. Give as much as one. Because when a person gives this, Allah opens the doors and opens the doors wider and wider and wider for you. He opens it so wide and everyone can fit inside. This is why we say Sirat al-Mustaqim. Sirat is not a narrow road, a narrow lane. Sirat al-Mustaqim, the way, the path, is such a path where you can fit so many people there. You can fit your family members, your friends, everyone, the whole ummah can come on this sirat. So it's not a narrow pathway, it's only you can go one by one and so forth. It's everyone can go. So everyone has the ability to be forgiven, and nobody wants the name to be on the list of those people that are going towards Jahannam. Every single night, Allah takes out every single night people out from the list of Jahannam and then puts them into the list of Jahannam. Every single night this happens. Ask Allah. Imagine I go out of this Ramadan and I haven't got forgiven. What kind of Ramadan is this? This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions, he says, I mean for that person who leaves Ramadan and he doesn't get forgiven. How much of istighfar do we need? How much of tawbah do we need? Sometimes we don't even know we're actually committing a sin. We don't know we're committing a sin. We're so used to it. Just like that person, when you walk past him, he's smoking for the first time. You may feel like, oh, he's bad, he's smoking, why is he smoking for? Second time you see him, third time, fourth time, fifth time, now you get used to it. Now you see, oh, smoke, oh, he's just smoking again like every single other day. Now the sin becomes less inside of his heart. So that's how it is. Sometimes we do the sin once, twice, three times, then it becomes less. Now we feel like it's not even sinning anymore. That's how it is now. So sometimes we don't even know that we're sinning. So making tawbah is so important for us. And then sitting down in a place where you feel comfortable and then getting out some tears. We say that the heart is filthy, the heart is dark, the heart is full of black spots. How am I going to clean out the heart, the black spots, the dirt, the filth, all of these different things inside of my heart? I said that every single drop of water in this dunya cannot wash it out. But one drop from the eye will completely clean out everything. One drop from the eye. It's about showing emotion from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How much of us are showing emotion? Our du'as seem empty. Outwardly they seem empty. Maybe a person feels something. But if a person cries, he shows emotion. He really means it. And that's it. He makes a firm intention. I ain't going to do this again. That's it. Put it to one side. Delete button. Khalas, that's it, no more. He makes a firm intention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's it, I'm going to have to change. I've got this bad habit, I want to get rid of it. Go and get help. Go and get help if you have to. Go into a professional if you have to. Go to somebody. But a person must do something about it. Because once a person makes effort, then Allah opens up all the doors for that person. وَالَّذِينَ جَاهَدُوا فِينَا لَنَهْدِيَنَّهُمْ سُبُلَنَا. That if a person makes the effort, then Allah opens up all the different ways for you. That way is open, that door becomes open, that door becomes open. Just like you have in business, and you're going up in your corporate, in the world. If you have this person on your side, this door opens for you, this door opens for you, this door opens for you. Now you have different opportunities. It happens in the corporate world as well. In the same way, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'll open this door for you, this door for you, this door for you as well. You have to have Him on your side. Because if you have any kind of difficulty in your life, that difficulty, that mountain that you have to climb, who put it there in the first place? It's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah lessen it for me. Allah give me the strength to come over it. Allah give me the strength to come over it. Because you don't want to take away these difficulties, because these are points for you to get higher in your darajat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in Jannah. So he said, give me the strength to come over this. Ya Allah, give me strength, give me strength. Strength is now physical strength, yes. One is spiritual strength, yes. And one is mental and emotional strength. These are three kind of strengths that you can really ask for in your du'as. So these are all these different things that a person will go full out, flat out. They have to go flat out. This is why Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam mi'zara, meaning shad the mi'zara, meaning tighten his belt. The expression we use maybe is pull up your sleeves, pull up your socks, get it, go full out. I'm going to make a tartib these last few nights. I'm going to go full out the whole night, whether it's the whole night, whether it's whatever a person can do, but do it and have a full tartib. Come to the masjid if you have to. Don't come to the masjid if you don't have to in the night time, because you feel like it's not the right environment to try and do something alone and you can't cry in front of people. Go do it in a place where you can. Do something which is showing Allah. Do it for Allah's sake, not for anybody else's sake. Only you know and only Allah knows. And if Allah knows, then the scroll of deeds and the hisab that Allah takes is between you and Allah. And we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is rahmah, is merciful. The second thing, the last thing that I'll mention is that just because between you and Allah, Allah is the most forgiving. But for that person that you hurt, for that person that you made zulm, for that person you lied and you slandered about, for that person you backbited about, go and ask them for forgiveness. Go and ask them for forgiveness. They are not Rahim, they are not Rahman, they are not the qualities of Allah. They don't have the qualities of Allah. So they can take everything back from you on the Day of Judgment. So go and ask. Be humble, clean out your heart from all of the illnesses and say ask, and ask away. This is what a person, as a humble human being, as a mu'min, we should be humble. Go and ask. Even if you are right and they were wrong, you still ask for forgiveness. If a person doesn't get this right, how can he even go towards Allah and try to sort out something because you haven't sorted out your brother, your sister, your other person, and so forth? So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to really give us the strength, the ability, the tawfiq to really push ourselves in this last few days, and then we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the previous things we've done, forgiveness, and for the future things we're going to do, also forgiveness, and for qubuliyat, and extra qabiliyat, the ability and the qubuliyat, acceptance of doing everything, our siyam, our qiyam, our du'as, and our everything that we do, our worship. And lastly, inshallah, one of the things that we always try to don't forget in our du'as is make dua not just for yourself, for your family, but for the whole ummah as well. Make dua for the whole ummah. Allahumma aghfir lil mu'minina wal mu'minat wal muslimina wal muslimat. So this is the dua for every single one of the person in the ummah. Make this dua inshallah as well. Subhanallah bihamdi, subhanallah bihamdik, nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta, nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.